Hi everybody, and welcome to Liszt Principles, where we are investigating mirror harmony, aka negative harmony, with a historical context of seeing examples of mirror harmony being used in classical, romantic, and modernist compositions by people like Franz Liszt, Bartók, and Wagner. I've got my book here. This is the Brad-Eye Notebook. Brad-Eye Notebook, Lost Secrets of the Faust and Dante Symphonies, which is where I've found a bunch of examples of mirror harmony as codified by Franz Liszt. I've got the mirror harmony cipher disc right here. This is where it's two cycle of fifths, one going forward, one going backwards. And if you align a single note with itself, you get all the mirror reflections over a single note mirror harmony axis. And if you put two notes that are right next to each other on the keyboard with each other, if you match those like E and E flat, then you'll reflect over the symmetry axis between those two notes. Anyway, I think our last topic was chord types. There's a bunch of chords like major, minor, minor 6, major 6, minor 7, minor 7 flat 5 that we talked about. I think I left out one particular reflection, which is we did minor, no, not minor major 7, it was another one. I left out, oh yeah, I did the Bluebeard chord, which is the major triad with a sharp 4, like the beginning of Bluebeard's Castle by Bartók. But then when he gets to there, he drops down to a D flat with C minor on top. And that's the reflection of the Bluebeard chord. It's a minor triad with a flat 2 as an added tone. And there is an example of that in the end of the Faust symphony by Franz Liszt. And he goes, and it's right there, he goes E minor over F. So I wanted to, real quick, let me say, the reason that I missed that guy is because I was taking a single triad, like the G, C, E, and adding tones, like adding 4 to it. The sharp 4, 5, flat 6, 6, flat 7, major 7, to get all those chord types. And I did that with minor 2, but I stopped at major 7. I could have continued on. The root would be a repeat of a root, but then you get your flat 2. This is another one I skipped. That C with a D flat on it is called a beta chord in the Lendvai Bartók system of making chords. They have a beta chord is a major triad with a flat 2 on top. You might know it better like in this kind of sound, like that kind of thing. Okay, so, and that one's mirror reflection is the minor with the sharp 4. You can work these out, at the piano or the guitar. Those are the mirror reflections. If you take this structure and mirror it, you will get this structure. You can almost hear that they're reflections of each other. And then over here, the reflections were that C major with a sharp 4 and the C minor minor with the flat 2. You kind of hear that there are reflections too. So that's chords out of the way. That's all the chords. I was going to do something about gateway chords or doorway chords, and I will get into that a tiny bit. Okay, so this C Pandora, B flat, E, A flat, C is flat 7, 3, flat 6, 1. It can balance transform, which means the amount of motion up matches the amount of motion down. And a balance transform is a shortcut for numerous symmetry transforms, which is taking a structure and flipping it over a certain axis. You get that chord, B flat, E, A flat, C. The A flat rises to A, and the B flat lowers to A, and it becomes A minor. The same Pandora chord, which is it's like a dominant 7 flat 6. The same chord will do a balance transform where the B flat rises to B natural and the C drops to the same B natural, and you get E major. So that's E major and A minor are dominant and tonic in a key that is a relative key of C. So make of that what you will. But the C Pandora goes to A minor, and it goes to E major. Now, off the top of my head, here's another doorway, gateway, which is if I am messing around with my single note symmetry and I build if I go from D, a whole step up in both directions, I get this, and then a fourth up in both directions, I get this. So I built this symmetrical structure, which is a C major 6. Now I can do a quick balance transform where G rises to A flat and A lowers to A flat, and get this augmented chord, which is 1 chord away from the beginning of the Faust symphony. But that A flat augmented triad, you can flip the C and the E, you can flip them to the B and the F, and you get a diminished triad. And that diminished triad can go off into diminished kind of territory. If you take if you invert that and put it down here, you'll get boom, 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 boom. The F, A flat, B, F. It's a diminished 7 chord minus the D. That will balance transform into F comes down to E, B comes up to C, and you get this F minor major 7. F minor major 7 chord. So that's a neat transformation because you're in totally different territory. And we talked about the 2 different types of symmetry, where single note symmetry structures that you build, like that kind of stuff, more tonal stuff, more harmonious stuff. Also the place that you get that very classical resolution type of thing. But double note symmetries give you a lot of force stuff. That kind of stuff. More modern, more angular, more fourths and fifths, more, it's just a whole different bag, and you get your fourth chords from there. And then you get to that fourth, and then you go a fourth up and a fourth down. You get those kind of quartal voicings. And then what do I want to say about that? Oh, my passageway. I had my to my augmented, and then B and F instead of C and E. Balance transform gives me this same thing if I do an inversion. And then lower the F, raise the B, and you get F minor major 7. So again, the whole deal is what an interesting aspect of that is, I got from my single note symmetry system with that major 6 and this diminished. Now another inversion of this would be so it's that diminished 7 chord without the D, the B, F, A flat, B, and I can flip these two, the F and the B and the F, I can flip to CE to give the mirror reflection of that F minor major 7 chord, which is the C major flat 6 chord. Is it? No, it's, sorry, this is an E major flat 6 chord. So again, I was at and then I went flat 6 major, E major with an added flat 6, which is the C. So those are some neat portals. I can go into that deeper later, but I kind of wanted to have all the ideas in the videos that we have so far that you can go back and you can piece them all together. So you can reverse engineer everything that's in the Broad-Eye Notebook from the videos, but the Broad-Eye Notebook is a fantastic companion, and all this stuff and way more stuff is in here. And it's just something you read it once and you kind of get the basic ideas of mirror harmony, and then you read it again and it gets a little bit deeper, and there's all kinds of really cool stuff. The other thing I wanted to say is a little bit of not esoteric, but kind of the spirit of the thing. Franz Liszt was an educator as well as a fantastic performer and composer. He was an educator, excellent, par excellence. He was a fantastic educator, and he, there's a lot of schools that he helped set up, and he was on the board of these schools, and he did master classes. I think he invented the master class, if I'm not mistaken. And anyone was welcome. I'm using hyperbole here, but anyone was welcome, and he wasn't the kind of, he wasn't harsh with people that were, he probably didn't teach any beginners, but he wasn't harsh with people who were not profoundly talented. He was, I'm sure there was a spirit to his teaching that was generous and magnanimous and that kind of stuff. And I think that's important. I think that he had that same spirit of the underlying kind of magic of music that he imbued in his compositions and into the Faust and Dante symphonies in particular. But he also brought that to his students, and something about that is, and he also had that transcendental technique, the years of transcendental technique, where he was channeling something, and that's kind of important, I think, that he was talking about spirit creating technique. That was something he said. Now, I'm not pretending to have any kind of that level of whatever, but I do think that there's something about these techniques where you sit down and you just kind of you just start. They just start to create things right away. Without thinking too much about what stuff is at play or whatever, I think the whole idea of the Liszt principles is these principles will get you real quick into an appreciation or an understanding and kind of the deep end of the pool of music. And I'm going to stop talking now, but some of the spirit is important to talk about. Now, let's get back to the stuff we were talking about. I wanted to talk about progressions as well. And I have a couple examples that I'm going to try to weave together. We did a Kenny Kirkland tune in one of the earlier videos, and that was chorrigianda, and I wanted to do a Kenny Garrett song. Saxophonist Kenny Garrett. He played with, I believe Kenny Kirkland plays on this tune as well, and to me it has a bunch of the harmonic concepts. Now that we're kind of out of the woods in terms of talking about symmetrical reflections and balanced transforms and the types of chords, I wanted to get into how these become progressions. And real quick, let me get back to that thing where I said we did our major with the flat 2. Next, you could do major with a natural 2, and then major with a minor 3rd. That's the gamma chord we talked about. Gamma chord is its own reflection. But I just wanted to complete the circle of that. We got all of our signature chords of the Liszt principal system by just taking a C major triad and adding there in just what I did. And then you would do the same thing with a minor triad. That's the one we just added, the minor with a flat 2, and then minor with a 2, and then back to minor just with 2 minor 3rds. Okay, so let's talk about the tune in question. It's called, I think it's called Van Gogh's Left Ear. Boy, oh boy, I don't even remember the name of the song. I'll put it in the description and the title. Okay, so this is Van Gogh's Left Ear, and we were talking about extended tonality, which is chords that are related by minor 3rds. And this concept came about because Weitzmann, the theorist Weitzmann in Liszt's time, had this theory of chords related by minor 3rds and related by the augmented chord. The diminished 7th chord and the augmented chord were like the foundations of his system. And Liszt, I really believe, took this and ran with it in the Faust and Dante symphonies. And the very end of the end of Faust symphony is something like, where he's just climbing up major chords related by minor 3rds. And then the theorist Lendvai comes along when Bartók takes this idea and runs with it again. And Lendvai kind of codifies this and calls it the axis tonality system. And it's really that for every function in tonality, you've got 3 other chords that can substitute for that. So in the key of C, it's the ones we just did, where it's C, E flat, G flat, and A are functionally equivalent. And people argue about this, and they say, well, how is F sharp the same as C major in a song that's in C major? That's going to sound very jarring. And I don't really care about the answer to that. That's not important to me. It definitely becomes useful to me when I think about tunes and tonality and modality and stuff like that, that there does seem to be a kinship between the C major and the G flat, whether it's like one is the shadow of the other or something like that. But this stuff shows up for sure in the Liszt examples we have, for sure shows up in Tristan und Isolde, which is the big Wagner example of this stuff, and shows up in Bartók. In my humble opinion, definitely in there and used that way. So I'm not going to argue it out. I'm going to say, like, I just accept this as true, that the functionality of something, like if I'm in C, A major is also a tonic chord, and E flat is a tonic chord. And you kind of see this stuff play out in use cases, because like E flat major over C is like a minor 7 chord sound, and then the A over C is kind of a flat 2, like a Phrygian type of sound. I mean, the most tonal you can probably get it is like to say C half diminished minor 7 flat 5 is like a G flat major over C in a tonal context. So let's just leave it there and say like that's what I think is true. And it's really where I think Bartók and Liszt and even Wagner were coming from in terms of trying to create progressions. So let's apply that to this song by Kenny Garrett called, I think it's Van Gogh's Left Ear. Oh my gosh, okay, it's one of my favorite songs, so I can't believe it. I don't remember the name. So anyway, he starts with it's mostly in B, and he starts with B major, A flat minor over B, which is major 6 sound. And the next chord is E flat major over B. So the way I would analyze that through our extended tonality lens is I'd say E flat is a 3 chord, and that's one of the dominant chords in B. So the dominant chords in B would be the flat 2, because that wants to go back to B, and the 3, because that wants to go back to B, or it wants to go to the relative minor of A flat minor. And then the 5 obviously is a dominant, and then the flat 7 is a dominant. That flat 7 wants to go up. And so those are the 4 dominant chords in B. So we went from a tonic chord to this, the 3, but a dominant sound, and then we go, which is like 5, 4, 3 on a C sharp major chord, which would be the subdominant. I'm not gonna explain these in slow motion or anything. I mean, you just listen to what I'm saying and you go explore on your own time. But so that's B major 6 to E flat over B, but that's the dominant, and then back to subdominant, and then back to a dominant chord. This is A major over B, which you'd call it a sus sound, right? But it's really a dominant sound over the tonic pedal. So B major 6 tonic, E flat over B dominant sound, and then C sharp major over B subdominant sound, A over B dominant sound, back to the major 6 or major 7, whatever, but we'll just say major 6 tonic, and then this. And what that is a 1, a 5, a flat 6, and a flat 3. We talked about this in the chords episode. It's like the most minor something can sound. It's got a flat 6 in it. It's also an inversion of a major 7 chord, but who cares right now? This is just a very tonic but very minor thing in B minor. And then it drops the root for the first time, and we get like a dominant, like an A dominant with a flat 2, which drops down to the root of that A dominant 13. And then we're to our next tonic, which is A flat. And in our system, our extended harmony system, extended tonality harmony system, B, D, F, and A flat are all possibilities for our tonic. So here we've landed in A flat, and we're at rest again. So I'll just play through it. That's the tonic, dominant, and then subdominant to dominant to tonic, to minor tonic. Now we've gone to a dominant, and then we resolve to a relative key, which is A flat. Then that drops down to a subdominant. The subdominant G, and it's a dominant chord, but whatever. And then that dominant's going to drop to another, that subdominant's going to drop to another dominant. G flat. So I'll play it up to there. Subdominant, dominant, and then subdominant, dominant, and then these I'm not going to analyze. I should, but I'll just leave it alone. That's enough to kind of analyze there. It goes on to be like a D and an F sharp over the same E bass, and then E flat minor, which is a dominant sound in our overarching tonality. E major, and then D minor, which is a tonic, and then like an F, like an F major sharp 11, which is in our tonic wheelhouse, but the darkest version, kind of like it's this, and it's doing that almost Jaws theme thing of the E to the F. And then it just transforms exactly from that F to its tritone equivalent, B in your back. So that's extended tonality in my humble opinion, and its different uses, and there's probably mirror reflections in there. I haven't even looked for them, but the idea was to show some of these equivalent harmonies and how you can move to different places by using those equivalents. And you have your tonic fields or realms, and you have your subdominant realms, and you have your tonic realms. And the tonic is home, or it's the most resolved, even if it's a kind of a dark mirror resolve. It's still resolved, it's still home. It might be home like, I don't know, like at nighttime or something, but it's home. And then you have your subdominant, which is where you go from home. I was like, a different place, what's this? What's up with this? And, or in Lendvai's view, the subdominant was like this inward reflection type of thing. It was like, well, let me think about, how do I really feel about that? Home is cool. How do I really feel about that? It's a reflection thing. And then when you get to your dominant, you are. It's like a strong, assertive to back to home. It's like it's external. So he looked at it as this home thing is like the middle resolved at rest thing. Subdominant is introspective, thoughtful, absorbing, or whatever. And then dominant was some kind of action, some kind of mobility, extroverted type of thing. And then you get back home. And that maps onto some of the compositional structure, it seems like, with Tristan und Isolde. That subdominant, or sorry, that subdominant to dominant feeling, and then the home being the resolution. I think that I won't get into this because this is more like controversial, my own theory type of stuff, but I think it's built into the structure of the whole thing of Tristan und Isolde that it starts in subdominant, the middle is tonic, and then the final end is dominant, which is like some kind of transformation, some kind of resolution or something. So anyway, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, just a couple more progressions. So that was the Kenny Garrett one, and here's one, a neat one from Faust Symphony. Okay, so here's a Faust Symphony progression. Starts with D7 really, and the melody is a flat 6, B flat, so it's really like a D Pandora chord. From our earlier Doorways section. So that D goes to G minor with B flat in the bass. That B flat becomes the flat 7 of a C dominant chord, which resolves to F major. So again, I'll do that part. And then we get like an A flat over F B, which is really like a G dominant with flat 2 in the bass, and then that drops down to E, B with G sharp in the bass. So G7 becomes E7 essentially. So again, extended tonality functional equivalence. G7 becomes E7. You could even throw in that and then my A flat drops to G, my E drops to E flat, and my B rises to C, and I get C minor, and then I land on D major, and then it's a whole new section. But I started, D was my dominant, to G tonic, but that G becomes subdominant here. It just, we'll talk about that later, like functional transformation or whatever. You just pivot, and that, so now your C7 is your dominant, and you go to your tonic of F major, and then your E would be a subdominant. Both G and E are subdominants here. And then C is a dominant, but it's a minor dominant, and then it goes up to the D major. And it's cool. That's like, I think a couple theorists call this like a Phrygian, one of the Phrygian resolutions. And there's a really cool kind of out of print theory book about Tristan und Isolde, where it says like the whole thing is like a Phrygian resolution from A minor to B major, because it starts in starts in A minor, and the whole deceptive resolution thing wants to go to A minor, but it goes to F major 7 maybe. So, but I digress. That's just a really cool. It's a really cool progression, especially. Sorry, I'll do that one more time. And then he's in D. And D is an equivalent tonic chord to F major. So he was in F and then digressed to B, to G over A flat, and then E over A flat, and then C minor up to D major. It's cool. It's, in my humble opinion, it's a very cool thing. Here's the last example for this video, and it's from Bluebeard's Castle by Bartók. And he does this F sharp minor major 7 sound, which goes to an F sharp minor major 7, which goes to a G over F7. So F7 9, and then an E major. Tune anymore. Well, I'll check that later, who cares. Again, it's that F sharp minor major 7 to F7, and then a big thing on E major, and then it goes to D at that point. Says good. Okay. So again, F sharp minor major 7, F sharp minor major 7, F7 with G on top, and then E major, and then D major, and then so again, that whole thing, F sharp minor major 7, which I would call a subdominant, headed towards E major tonic. F is your flat 2 dominant, and then you get to E tonic. But then real quick, you're in dominant again, because you went to D. And then you drop to B flat minor major 7, and then you go to G, which is another tonic realm, and then an F minor. It's a really cool chord, but it would be dominant in this key. And that chord is F minor major 7, and then it drops to be F half diminished or Tristan chord, and then it jumps up to be that like a D major over D flat major. So mushing two chords together in a very Bartók-y way. So again, that guy is, or I could do it here. F7 with G on top, and then tonic E, dominant, D major, and then here to B flat minor major 7, and then like a dominant sharp 9 chord, but in the tonic realm. You could end there, but then he goes to this major third toggling, which is really right out of the Faust Symphony Gretchen. The Gretchen movement has that exact kind of movement changing. And that's what I have to say about that. This is progression. This is coming up with cool stuff, moving to other cool stuff. And I could go on, but I probably shouldn't. I did want to say that what I was getting at before with that whole technique should create itself out of spirit and the spirit of Liszt and his magnanimous nature as a teacher and all that stuff is really to point to what I like about this stuff and what it helps me about it is you really sit down and just these notes, they start they start moving into one another like real quick. So I haven't touched this guitar in, I mean, it could be a couple years. I don't even know. Like I play a little small practice guitar a lot of time if I want to mess around with guitar, and I play piano and stuff. I don't think I've touched this guitar, and I'm not saying it's impossible to play guitar after not playing it for a while, but it's an archtop, so it's got higher action and thicker strings and all that stuff, and I've not worked out in a while. But I'm not worried about it because those kind of things are those structures they're gonna help me. They're gonna help me, and I really think that the simple balance, the simple balance transform nature of the stuff, and being able to generate things from thin air, you just pick an axis point. Pick an axis. If it's a single note, it splits off like this. And if it's two notes, it splits off like this. You're right into some cool sounds right away. And that's all I really have to say about it. I think I've really covered the basic techniques and ideas and concepts in the Broad Eye Notebook. It is for sale. It's a 200-page book with a ton of information, some historical perspectives, definitely a lot of information about Franz Liszt. You get diagrams and stuff I tried to put all the possibilities of the mirror harmony cipher disc as an appendix, and I've got excerpts from like Bluebeard's Castle and Liszt music, and Tristan und Isolde is in there, and it's just a cool little companion to have, and you can build off of very basic principles. I know I bounce around from like this to that to the other thing, and like, oh, this is cool too, but the bag of tricks is a limited bag of tricks. It's like you've got your single note axis, double note axis, you've got balance transforms, you've got this bunch of chords that you generate with a major and a minor triad and added notes, and then you start seeing these things everywhere, and you start being able to compose with them and improvise with them, and it's really cool. You're kind of never lost for inspiration or something to work on or something to check out or some way to listen to music and have some kind of rudder to guide you and hear these in the works of the people that I consider like the greatest figures in music ever. So, action items, if you want to stay involved with this stuff, I'll keep posting videos. I will probably start doing deep dives into single examples. So I'll take like, here's an excerpt from so-and-so, and let's analyze it based on our principles from the beginning month or so of videos. And it'll be like that, or just, keeping in touch and that kind of stuff. If you want to grab the book, let me know. I should have a landing page at some point. There might be a link down there. You're free to email me at any time. Just say, hey, I want a book. I'm going to be making these mirror harmony cipher discs. So if you want one, it rotates. You've got 2 cyclophyphs, and it can help you find mirror harmony or negative harmony structures immediately. And I have a 5-email course in the description. You click that link, and then I'll send you 1 email a day for 5 days just to go over all the stuff that's been in these introductory videos and the stuff that's in the Broad Eye Notebook. There is a Facebook page as well, Liszt Principles. I just started that, so feel free to go on Facebook and find Liszt Principles and join me and join us in checking this stuff out. It's mirror harmony as a holistic approach to harmony, and when looked at in a historical context of Romantic and Modernist composers. My name is Scott, and I appreciate your time. And if you have any questions or you want to talk or give me any examples of mirror harmony you found, then please, let me know about that stuff in the comments below, or feel free to email me at any time about anything. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye.